And the Oscar goes to Martin Scorsese.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, please. Thank you. Could you double check the envelope?
You know, I come from a working class family. My mother and father weren't well educated. I was second generation, I guess, Italian American. There was no tradition of reading in the house, no books. Of course, I read in school, etc., books in school and that sort of thing, but it was more of a visual tradition, more if I was taken to movie theaters a lot. Also, being a sickly child with very severe asthma, I couldn't play sports. So again, the movie theater and the church and the movie theater. What it made me realize was that there was an intelligence, another kind of intelligence, that was trying to tell a story through where the director, the writer, and the cinematographer, where they were focusing your eyes. You know, whether it was the camera may be on an extremely low angle, looking up at you. The use of the lens, the size of the lens. I began to understand certain lenses interpreted the story differently.
It is literally like taking the eye, the heads of the people in the audience and grabbing them by the back of their hair and forcing them to see things by different cuts and camera moves the way I see them. I'm really annoyed that I can never really get certain camera moves fast enough. I'm trying to capture the way I perceive things.
This extraordinary powerhouse of 2 or 3 films I saw once when I was 5 or 6 years old, they pervaded everything, and that's the Italian neorealist films. Open City, well, Paisa, Open City, Shoeshine, and Bicycle Thieves, 4 films. And they sort of had cast their shadow over me and my family were Sicilian Americans, along with musicals, westerns, noirs at the time, although they weren't called noirs, they were just movies, and all of British cinema.
And what eventually happened was that when I went to Hollywood, I thought I wanted to do genre films. I worked with Roger Corman and that sort of thing. But I found that ultimately I had to do a film that I was saying something in, that had my own voice, you see. And that was Mean Streets. And I worked on it for like 6 or 7 years on the script myself and my old friend Martic Martin, who came from NYU with me. And I had the script out there. And John Cassavetes was the one who told me to go ahead and make that kind of film. He said, you can do genre films. He said, but that's not you. The world was changing. The old Hollywood was gone. I didn't want it to go. I wanted to be part of that Hollywood, but it was too late. And I couldn't have been. There's no way. The world that created that Hollywood was gone.
Independent cinema in Hollywood started saying, hey, maybe these indie films these kids could work in the industry. And so we were all out in LA, and he introduced me to Paul Schrader. Schrader wrote Taxi Driver. Travis comes from his vision, but more psyche. I connected with it through Dostoevsky's Notes from Underground. It was like enlightening, you know? And so for me, when I read the script, Brian gave it to me. He said, you know, I don't want to do it. I can't do it, but maybe you should do it. But I didn't have enough cachet, as they say, at that time to make the picture. But then they saw the rough cut of Mean Streets, and they changed their mind, especially when they saw De Niro in it. And so they said, for the two of you, we could probably get this film made. It's fascinating to me because what we had wanted to try, I think, in the 70s too, was to, it was going that way. Pictures were getting longer. Bertolucci had made Novecento at 5.5 hours. You know, I mean, the films are getting longer. The idea of exploring character and story and atmosphere to almost like novels in a way that can go on for, well, Sopranos went on for 60 hours. Yeah. You see. And so this is something that may be the place for the development of the new cinema.
Make your own industry. Recreate movies. Don't pay attention to the industry. Do your own thing. I mean, put it this way. You want the work to be seen. It's all new. You just break it open. Break open the form.
You go to movies to be involved in the picture, to get a sense. I want to lose myself up in that screen for a few hours and, in a sense, know what it's like to be human. You come across certain kinds of films that when you go to the theater and when you see them, you're completely surprised. They make you look at life a different way. They make you look at being human a different way. They touch areas that you don't want touched sometimes.
Yeah.
It's provoke you, which
Right.
is good. And then there's that rarest of films where when you see it continually over years, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years, you still see more in it. And what's even better is that if you're making pictures, you go back to this well, this source, for A, inspiration, and B, maybe it should be A, is to learn.
From my heart, on behalf of my wife Barbara and I, being part of Casino was a great treat. It was a Cadillac. You are a Cadillac. To me, that is the top of the industry. Wherever your wonderful mother is, who I loved and adored, as certainly you did in your family, she's watching and smiling on you. God give you the great strength and courage to continue your great work. You are special. Never forget that. You are special. God bless you, and I love you.